Am I the butthole for banning my former mother-in-law from my house because she keeps showing up and letting herself in? My former mother-in-law is 52 years old and I am 32 years old. Back when I was 23 I got my then girlfriend pregnant. We married soon after and she gave birth to our little girl. 2 years after my wife got extremely sick and passed soon after, leaving me with our daughter. I decided to move several states away back to my own parents as I work a lot and my parents volunteered to help me with my daughter. This went on for a while until I made a good promotion and had enough saved up to get my own house half an hour away from my parents, and since then watching my daughter during the day while I am at work is split between the nanny I hired and my parents. Before you think I am taking advantage, my parents insist on watching her. My daughter is 8 now in case you wonder, and I generally work 8 to 6. My former mother-in-law decided to move to the town I live because she wants to be close to her granddaughter/me daughter. I initially had no issue with this. After all, my wife was her only child and my daughter her only grandchild. I only started having an issue when she actually moved. Since she moved here, she was at my house pretty much all day, including when I got home after work and the weekends. She would even be there when my daughter was at school and no one was home to clean. After having multiple conversations and arguments with her where I stated I was of the opinion her behavior was inappropriate and she was crossing boundaries, she finally toned it down for a while. However, slip-ups were and are common. Last week was the last straw for me. Since the past year and a half I have started dating again and met a woman. However, due to Corona we have not been able to spend much time together. With everything opening up here, I invited her over after asking my parents to watch my daughter. When we were fooling around on the couch, my ex-mother-in-law let herself in, of course without calling, knocking or asking, and proceeded to lose her crap and accused me of cheating and disrespecting my deceased wife. I finally had enough. I went over, snatched my key from her, forced her out of my home and told her she is no longer welcome in my house. She really has no one else, and several people including my parents have weighed in asking me to change my mind. I am not sure if I am the butthole here. NTA because of 3 main reasons. 1. This is your house. 2. This is your kid. 3. This is your life. You lost your wife. I'm genuinely sorry for your loss. You grieved, you accepted your loss, and then you moved on. You're not cheating on anyone and you're well within your right to not allow her into your property. Keep her away for your kid. Her reaction tells me that she'll try and push her mindset of you cheating onto your daughter. Just remember that you are the parent and that you have your own life. Am I doing the math right here? Married at 23, widowed at 25, now 32? So his wife has been gone 7 years? Surely that's more than enough time to start moving on? Or does the mother expect lifelong celibacy? Not the butthole edit. To be clear, I mean original poster moving on, not the mill. If she chooses to grieve her whole life, it's not overly healthy, but it's her life to live. She must think her daughter is still here as a ghost. No wonder she always at his house. She was talking to her daughter who is a ghost, and she must come at that moment because her daughter who is a ghost told her he was cheating. Makes perfect sense. I bet she's really good at pottery though. Haha, though some of us potters would punch you in the face if you ruin our vase that tall, even if you are as sexy as Patrick Swayze back in the day. Thing is, that wasn't Patrick Swayze. That was his character's ghost possessing Whoopi Goldberg's body. So it's funny as hell to imagine that scene, but Whoopi doing it. The character was still alive when he and Demi/her character were at the pottery wheel and he had a go and the vase collapsed. Huh, you're right. To be fair, it's been years since I last saw that movie. No, in the pottery scene Patrick Swayze's character was still alive. His character was ghost possessing Whoopi Goldberg's body later in the movie, in the slow dance scene. It has been a long time since I've seen the movie. That scene stresses me out so much. Smiley face, smiley face. Yeah, I know. Sexy as Patrick Swayze was as a young man, and as much as his character loved Demi's character, nope, doesn't make up for all the hours practicing I had to do to get anywhere even remotely close to that level of pottery. Throwing something on a wheel is bloody hard. I was amazed how difficult it was when I took a class. As hard as it is, I'd ruin dozens of them in a row to get a young Patrick Swayze back in the world. Unchained melody intensifies. There was one rule to follow. To be fair, I'm the only daughter of an only daughter. My maternal grandmother literally never got over the loss of her only child, and emotionally disowned me when I gave my only child up for adoption. Her grief was deep and abiding, made her a bit crazy. Grief over the loss of a child, especially if never fully worked through, can really mess you up bad. And it doesn't help that she moved to a new place where she doesn't know anyone except his daughter and his parents. Yeah, but he moved there after she died, so it is still really strange. People really do expect that. I was widowed at 24 and I'm 30 now. My former in-laws have the same mindset and think my being in a new relationship is disrespecting my late husband's memory. He told me himself before he passed that he wouldn't want me to be alone forever in his absence. Because that's love. People aren't meant to be alone forever, that's so young to lose someone, lifelong mourning isn't healthy. It's been almost 22 years for me. I would have been similar, to be honest. I wasn't even looking. The girl I am dating approached me and asked me out, and in the spur of the moment I said yes. Turns out that it has really helped me. I am a lot happier now, but I would have never taken that decision myself at that time. Turns out that it has really helped me. This is going to be better for your daughter in my opinion. My mother was widowed when I was very young and never had another relationship. She would tell me over and over that she would never ever do that because of my father's memory. It was just weird when I was a kid because I don't have memories of him, but as I became older I realized how it stunted her as a person. She spent more years being a widow than she spent married. I really wish she'd been able to share her life with others in relationships. That's why I always felt sorry for the Queen Mum, the Queen's mother. She lived over 50 years after her husband's death, and never remarried or seemed to move on. I always compared it to my own parents. Neither of them could have lasted that long without the other. And they didn't. My mother made it another 18 months without him. That was long enough for her. Moving on has been beyond difficult, but I think at this point I am entitled to find someone to spend my life with regardless of what my daughter's grandmother thinks, as the person I wanted to spend my life with was taken so soon and I still got a lot of life left, I would think. NTA. Sitting down with her and creating boundaries is going to be important to the future of your relationship. She is grieving and sounds lonely, and you are bound together by your mutual love for your late wife. But she needs to understand that your late wife wouldn't have wanted you to be alone forever. This seems like a situation that merits an adult discussion, and a new rule where she is required to call before she comes over, and no more keys. She is probably worried that if you get into a new serious relationship and move on, she will be sidelined in your and your daughter's lives. I don't know her, but assuming she's usually a pretty reasonable person, if you assure her that she remains family and you will always be family, she may chill out a bit. All of this is very good. I think in addition to discussing boundaries, you should ask her to look into therapy, even in a group setting. Any sort of group activities in your area would be good for her, but it sounds like she's still got a lot of hang-ups that need to be addressed for everyone to be safe. Not the butthole. I think you're doing a good job raising your kid. Single parenting is hella rough. I am entitled to find someone to spend my life with regardless of what my daughter's grandmother thinks. 100%, absolutely. I know you know this. I just want to affirm it. Thank you, and I need plenty of affirmation on that particular subject. I still catch myself feeling guilty for it from time to time, and I guess you never fully shake that feeling if you truly loved someone. You waited a lot longer than most people would, and longer than I think society would deem normal, for lack of a better word. It's normal to want companionship and to feel love. It doesn't mean you're cheating on your wife or that you love her any less than when she was here. I think she wanted you to need her like she needed you and your daughter. Also makes me think she was over so much to spy on you, and the surprise pop-ins were to try and catch you in this exact situation. I'm not trying to excuse her behavior at all, because frankly it's appalling, but she really needs to speak to a grief counselor. You are totally in your right to be angry and ban her, and I think it was the right move. But maybe when the anger subsides a bit, have a serious talk about boundaries and getting some professional help. NTA, and I'm so very sorry for your loss, and I wish you all the happiness and love in the world. I work in memory care, and I've had a few of my residents in the earlier stages of dementia actually encourage their spouse to start looking for a new partner before the resident dies. One lady watched her mom go through dementia and said she didn't want her husband to be alone when she was like a small child. Her husband initially did not seek another person, but towards the end of the middle stages of his wife's dementia, he met someone. The new woman's emotional support made it easier for him to keep coming in daily and being meaningfully present for his wife. Of course, their kids were upset, but the kids never made time to visit after their mom got really bad, because it wasn't how they wanted to remember her. I don't think they were there much for their dad, either. I think my resident knew their kids were going to be like that, and that's why she wanted her husband to have someone in his corner when she was no longer capable. That seems like they really loved each other. That is one of the sweetest things I've heard. In some cultures, women are definitely pressured to mourn forever and never remarry. In my culture, this is the case, and many of these women were black permanently. It's irritating to me because they do not act the same way about men who lost a spouse. They look to get him a second wife quickly. That's because women are replaceable but men aren't. Rolling eyes face. I think that the loss of a child is horrific, and I'm sure that she's still grieving. Original poster has every right to move on with his dating life, and to not want someone, no matter the relationship, to invade his privacy. It's probably difficult for the mother-in-law to see her daughter being replaced. Op has done nothing wrong, but if he wants to be lenient, considering the circumstance, he could make therapy a condition of mother-in-law being allowed to be back in his daughter's life. As someone who has lost a partner and is also a parent, my heart hurts for the mother-in-law and original poster for their loss, but mother-in-law has seriously crossed the line here. I think everyone can agree, this woman needs therapy. No parent can truly move on after losing a child, and some just handle it better after time goes on. But she shouldn't busting in on him like that. It's completely effed up. TBH, from the way he described her, it sounds like she isn't done grieving, and I can't really blame her because I probably wouldn't be done either if it were my kid, but she has no right to push her mourning onto him. She seems to have issues and needs intense therapy. She has no business demanding that her son-in-law be miserable for the rest of his life the way she plans to be miserable for the rest of hers. People deserve to be happy and have personal boundaries. Therapy might help her realize what a bad influence she is being on her granddaughter who needs her. NTA Op. Consider sitting that woman down and convincing her to go to loss therapy. You might have to keep her banned until she agrees to go. The death of a child, even a grown one, can be devastating. I'm not saying she's right, but it can be hard to cope with, and she obviously needs therapy. NTA, you've warned her multiple times. If she wants to see her grandchild, she should call you and ask, either come over or take your daughter out somewhere. I would not give the keys back. With the grandmother being pissed off at Op, I wouldn't recommend unsupervised visits at the moment. Yeah, that's true, but what's she going to do? If she does anything, he could go as far as getting a restraining order. Edit, please stop telling me. I get it a lot she can do, I don't need to be spammed about it. She comes across as unstable, and it's just best to never play chicken with children and an unstable adult. She's clearly not dealt with her grief. She needs to go to counseling and accept that her daughter has passed on. Convince the child that any new relationship original poster gets into is an affront to her mother and create a lifelong divide between them. Yeah, I guess that's true. I mean, this woman is not stable, and we have read many stories of child abduction by relatives. There is a lot she can do. Child abduction by family/family friends, someone known to the child, is in fact more common than stranger abduction. My first thought is she tried to kidnap her deceased daughter's child. In some states in this situation, she would have a very good chance to secure grandparents' rights. I completely agree that original poster was fully in the right to take away her keys and ban her from the house, but I would caution that original poster should check the laws in their state before they go NC to keep from giving her the leverage needed to force the issue. If original poster otherwise gets along with former mother-in-law apart from this one issue, it might be worth trying to find some activities outside the home or bring her to visit mother-in-law in her home. It may suck, but with one parent deceased and in existing relationships, judges in several states would be quick to order visitation. Even if she forces the issue and visitation is ordered, that doesn't mean that she can keep going into Op's house, and that doesn't mean unsupervised. Never said it did. Original poster was completely 100% right to take her keys and bar her from the house for refusing to respect his boundaries. No question of that at all. Op should do what is best for him and his daughter, but should definitely consider talking to a lawyer before fully cutting contact between mother-in-law and daughter. She could try to alienate original poster and daughter. People try to manipulate children like that all the time. He needs to change the locks because she may have made copies. Yup. Exactly, original poster didn't say grandma can't see the granddaughter. She just can't come into his house. He didn't say she will never be invited again. She just can't have unlimited access right now. He took the key away, which will guarantee that she can't barge in. He did the reasonable thing and asked, begged, pleaded, and the grandma kept doing it, so he's not the butthole for enforcing logical boundaries. Hold your ground, original poster, until she apologizes to you and your girlfriend. Exactly. It's not like he's gone no contact or cut her out. He just doesn't want her to have unlimited access to his house. Not the butthole. Agreed, no more unpermitted access ever. If she wants to be involved in kiddo's life, it needs to be through original poster and on Op's terms, which include privacy and being supportive of him. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to be the first to know about Red Rabbit Reader's new videos. If you like our videos, please like them on YouTube and share them with your friends. We welcome your comments below. Press to start another of our videos.